Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review video. I have 6 books, and there's kind of like a theme with this book review video. It's not like a holiday theme or anything like that, but most of my books, not all of them, I think there's like 3 out of the 6 are about England. So let's get started with this book. This is called British Kings and Queens from the Anglo-Saxons to the House of Windsor. It's by Sandra 40. And this is what it looks like. And basically, it shows you the chronological history of each of the kings and queens England's had. And also, I think it did, and then after the British, the English ones, they did the Scottish ones, and then they did the Wales ones, which I never even knew. It wasn't like they had kings or queens in Wales. It was mostly princes and stuff, I think. But it was a really good book, and that was the first time I've ever read a book. I read some of these books about, like a chronological order from for England's kings and queens, but I never read a book that had the Scottish and the Wales stuff in it too. And it was a nice book. There was it was like a brief, excerpt for each one of the kings and queens they all had. And I just liked it. I just really liked it. It was I like the royals, I like royal stuff, and I just liked it. So this is a series. It's called a Booktown Mystery Series, and it's called Murder is Binding. It's by Lorona Barrett. I'm terrible at pronouncing names, so if I say it wrong, I apologize. But this is what it looks like, and it basically is in this little town where there's all the small little town where there's all these different types of bookstores, and even the bars and the stores are named like bookish kind of names. And this woman is talking to this one woman who owns the cookbook bookstore about how the rents are going to go up and stuff like that. And they're like, well, we can barely afford rents and stuff because they're on like the main street. And so what happens is the girl that owns the cookbook store gets murdered. And the other woman, what's her name? I forget. Trish, I remember, I think it was Trisha. And her sister, Ange, decide to figure out who did it and why. And I really liked it. I mean, it was a different book. I never read this series before, and I thought it was a good book. I really liked it because all I kept saying was geez, I wish, besides what the mystery part of it was, I was like, geez, I wish I lived in that town because it seems so quaint. And I love books, and I would probably buy $1 million worth of books if I lived in a town where all it was bookstores, and it would just be so cute. Okay, this book I really didn't finish because I did not like it one bit. It's by Christina Green, and it's called Deadly Admirer. It's a Kate Kinsella mystery. This is what it looks like. It's about this woman who works in this hospital. She works with the mental illness type of people, and this woman that comes to the hospital says that this guy's been following her and all this stuff, and here it was, I guess he raped her or something. And when this woman Kate finds out about it, she starts looking into it, and then the nurse gets crazy and they think she killed herself. But Kate thinks that the guy did it that was following her. So then the guy's following her around and stuff, and now she's getting creeped out by it. And I really didn't finish it because I just really didn't get into it. It was just a book that I just really didn't get into it. I don't know why. I just didn't. I think it was just boring. It was boring to me, I guess. I don't know. I feel it skipped over stuff. It didn't go in a smooth storyline. It went from one thing to the other to the next thing and then back to the problem and stuff like that. I just really didn't enjoy it. I didn't really get into it like I did with most of my books I read. This book's by John Steinback. This is called The Acts of King Arthur and His Noble Knights. And this is what it looks like. It looks like it's a thick book, but the last 100 pages of the book is an appendix. And basically what it is John Steinbeck in the beginning of the book talks about how this was sort of like his favorite kind of genre to read when he grew up, which was like the sci-fi fantasy kind of thing. And the one thing I thought it was going to be about like a fictitious biography about King Arthur, kind of, like how he became king and stuff like that. But there's no chapters in the book, they're all stories. So the first story in the book deals with how King Arthur, how he got created, and then how Merlin wanted him as a baby to protect him and to show him different things and what was good and evil and stuff. And then when he got older, he lived with this family, and he was a page to him. And then he actually, then it got into the part where like he pulled the sword from the stone and stuff like that. And then it talked about how he got to be king. And then and then everything else past that was basically about his knights. So each story, minus there's one about his half-sister, I think, Morgan Le Fay, I think, talks about all the knights, and Lancelot is the last knight that has a story in the book. And it was okay. I never really read fantasy kind of stuff or anything like that. So, but I do have to say, it is like if you like fantasy / sci-fi type of things, you should read this book because it's really good. But it wasn't like I was drawn into it. It wasn't like, oh, this book was bad or this book was really, really good. I just thought it was okay. But, if you like King Arthur, you like to read sci-fi, fantasy stuff, this book is for you. So, this next book is called The Woman He Loved, The Story of the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. It's by Ralph G. Martin. And if you guys don't know, he was Edward VIII, the King of England, until he abdicated to be with an American twice divorced woman. And it basically, it combines both of their stories together. So, like, the first couple chapters are about her when she was born and stuff like that. And then it doesn't get into when he was born and stuff, but it picks up like when he was maybe like an adolescent kid kind of thing, and then it goes back to her. So it's mostly more her than it is him, but then when they get married, obviously their stuff goes together. And it goes up until he dies. So he dies, and then there's another chapter where it's kind of like a wrap up of stuff and how she's gonna because she didn't die yet. Wallis Simpson didn't die yet. So so she's just talking about how she's like, what her life was like after, and how the Queen went and visited her uncle when he was dying and stuff like that. And this is what it looks like. I don't know if I can fit it in the frame. This is what it looks like. And there's only one set of pictures in it, and the pictures are like in the very maybe first fourth of the book. And they're all in black and white, so you guys know. But this book was good. It was kind of like, it wasn't, because like when I read biographies, I like to read biographies that kind of flow like a story, not spew out facts every 2 seconds of the book. But I really liked it because, I read books about Edward VIII. I have never read a book about Wallis Simpson before. So I kind of liked how, you learn more about her life because, people were quick to judge her just because she was a divorced woman marrying this king, and then he abdicated and stuff like that. So it was a really good book. I mean, it is long, but there are like, like the citations in the back and stuff. So that's the one thing I like about reading biographies, to be honest, is because you look at a book and you're like, oh, this biography might have like 800 pages in it, but maybe the last 100 or 200 are just like citations, the bibliography type of thing. This is the last book I have. It's another, this is like a historical fiction type of book, but it is about like the royalty in England. And this is called The Other Queen. It's by Philippa Gregory. Philippa Gregory usually writes stuff about like around like not Edward the Eighth, Henry the Eighth's time kind of thing. Around there. Like not specifically like Henry the Eighth stuff. So this is what it looks like. And I didn't really enjoy this book. I did finish it, but I didn't enjoy this book because I felt like it was, well, what happens is it's about Mary, Queen of Scots, and how obviously she wanted to be the next ruler of England instead of Queen Elizabeth I, which is Henry VIII's daughter that he had with Anne Boleyn. And here it's just about how they take her from her spot in the triangle and they put her with these attendants, these people, and she has to live with them until they figure out what they're going to do with her. And obviously they can't kill her because she's a member of the royal family, stuff like that they say in the book. I forget that. And so she's with these people, so she keeps going back and forth with like where she's living and stuff and what she can bring with her and what she can't. And then then the person that she's with, they're like a husband and wife, and they get this money every month, I guess, to take care of her, but it's not enough because she does all this stuff. So here what happens is she learns, Mary, Queen of Scots, that she's gonna marry this guy, but she has to wait until she's not in seclusion anymore. And they have these letters in it, and this the wife that's help take care of Queen Mary and stuff sees them as like, oh, they're trying to like plot something to get rid of Queen Elizabeth so that she can be queen, because of course, Queen Elizabeth I didn't have any heirs, she didn't marry anybody, so she would be the next person to rule over England as well. And so that's basically what it's about. Now, the one thing I do have to say is, like, usually in these books, this is what really annoys me in this book, was usually with Philippa Gregory books, the least ones I've read, they do it where it's based, like, when you first read chapters in her book, it'll say, like, 1528 winter to spring or whatever. So the first couple things in this book are like that, and then, like, suddenly she decides to be like, okay, it's winter in 15 whatever, and it's December. Like, that's what it's like. And I'm like, you're getting very specific, and I don't know why, because usually in her books it's not like that. So that was the one thing I do, is like, if you don't want to, like, if you want to be very specific, do that. But if you don't, then do it, like, don't just keep like switching back and forth. To me, that's like kind of annoying. But those were all the books I have for this book review video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys next time with another video.